Alright, what is up everyone? Darkside Phil here on my Xbox One dashboard, and today is Monday, February 18th. I'm sorry, Monday. Today's Tuesday, February 18th, 2014. Sorry about that. And I just got back from break. I took about a week's break to do some stuff with my girlfriend, and I've come back to discover that the Xbox One dashboard and just the interface itself has had a major patch. Now, the good news is, if you're an Xbox One owner, and maybe like me, you haven't played Xbox One in a while because there really hasn't been any reason to boot the damn thing, okay? As long as it was plugged into the internet, it should have automatically downloaded this update patch for you, and it did so for me. But what you're going to notice is when you boot up your Xbox One, it's going to take a lot longer to boot up than usual. There's actually a status bar that'll crawl across your screen until it boots up. Now, what this patch has done has basically added back just common sense functionality that was present in the last gen's console, the Xbox 360. Things that, like, out of the gate you would have expected the Xbox One would have had on it, but just insanely stupidly it didn't. And it was just, at the launch of this console, I was like, really? This isn't in it? This isn't in it? What the fuck were they thinking? What kind of an idiot designed this thing? So I guess after, 3 to 4 months of what the fuck is wrong with Microsoft, how stupid can they be, as feedback from the customer, Microsoft finally decided to fix the damn console. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to walk you through some of the changes that have been made to the Xbox One. I'm going to show you some of the things that have not been improved that still need to be fixed. And then I'm going to show you an interesting thing that I found that could lead to some major controversy in the future. Alright? So, here we go. First of all, the number one thing that I think everyone said, what the fuck, when they bought an Xbox One, okay, and they realized this wasn't in it, was, as you know, the Xbox One has a wireless controller. If you haven't seen it, I fully, reviewed it and showed it in my Xbox One launch coverage from back in November. And, of course, the wireless controller runs on batteries. Duh. So you might say to yourself, okay, that's great. So how do you check your batteries? How do you see how much battery charge you have left in your Xbox One controller? And until this major update this week, the answer for the past 3 months was, you can't. That's right. The geniuses at Microsoft didn't put the ability to check the battery level of their controller into the console. That's how stupid they were. Okay? So what we're going to do now, I'm going to show you they've added it. All you need to do is have a wireless controller powered on and press the Xbox button on the controller. And you saw what happened there. In the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, you've got a battery level meter and the time. That's right, the most basic of features that were missing from the Xbox dashboard have now been re-added. So now you can actually check by just pressing the button the battery level on your Xbox One controller. So that's improvement number one. Improvement number two is, again, based off the major complaint of most people, they said, why the hell can't I tell how much space I have on my hard drive? And the reason that this was a big area of controversy during the Xbox One launch was that the Xbox One was only available with a 500 gigabyte built-in hard drive, but as of launch and as of right now, there's no ability or capability to expand that storage. In addition, most games that you're buying for Xbox One, in fact, I have to say every game that I bought at launch required a significantly huge amount of gigabytes to be used to install a new game to your console. So, let me get this straight. I have a limited amount of storage space, I can't expand it, but you have no function in the console to tell me how much space I have left. It made no sense. It was completely bonkers. So what they've done, I'm going to show you right now. If you go to My Games and Apps, they've completely changed this. This used to look completely differently, okay? What they have done is they have now a menu, as you can see, installed A to Z, recent, or sort by size. So you can see everything, the most recently added games, or you can sort them by the actual hard drive size on your console. Okay? Now, I'm going to go back to A to Z. What you see here are your games that are available, and there's certain icons over each one, and they mean different things. If you see an icon that has a Gamepad Plus, It means that you own that game, but that the game is not in the hard drive. Or, I'm sorry, the game, or the disc, the physical game disc is not inside of your Xbox One. So if the game disc isn't inside of the Xbox One, it won't boot the game. So let me show you what happens. Here's Forza Motorsport 5. I've already traded this game in. So technically I don't have this game. And by the way, I uninstalled it because I wanted to free up the space. I never want to play this game again because it kind of sucks. So you go here, it's going to say, if you have a game disc, insert it now. Otherwise, make sure the person who bought this is signed to Xbox Live and choose finish. Now you may be saying to yourself, huh? What does that mean? And this is where I think this could lead to some controversy in the future. Just listen to what this says. Installation of the game is almost done. If you have the game disc, insert it. Otherwise, make sure the person who bought this and it is signed into Xbox Live and choose finish. Doesn't that sound a hell of a lot like what they were talking about months ago when they said it was going to be you install your game and then from then on you don't need the disc anymore, that game was going to be tied to only one Xbox Live ID tag and account? In fact, it sounds exactly like that, right? So what this is telling me is that I think future view, Microsoft may go back to their original model where you can't trade in games, and once you buy a game and install it, that's it. It's tied to your Xbox account permanently, your Xbox Live account. At least, why would they leave this menu option in the console, right, if that wasn't the case? Now, let me show you something. It is disabled, because if you hit finish, now keep in mind I said the game disc is not in there, and I traded this game in. You hit finish, the console looks like it's going to install the game, and then it does, as you'll see, absolutely nothing. And now you cannot play the game because the game disc is not in there. But why give me this pop-up message referring to an Xbox Live account? It makes no sense at all unless Microsoft may be trying to go back on their word in the future. And I think that's going to be a big piece of controversy if that's what really happens. Okay? Now, what you see here is that for games that are not retail disc releases, such as Crimson Dragon, okay, Zoo Tycoon, those games don't have the icon. Now here's where I'm really confused. Why does Killer Instinct have that icon? Because as you know, Killer Instinct is digital only. You can't buy a disc for it. And if I press the button, which I'll show you, it boots it. So why does Killer Instinct have that fucking icon? I have no idea. I'm very confused. So let's go back to that menu. Alright. Now what's been added that's brand new here, if you look on the left-hand side, you got games, apps, and queue, which means games that basically are in queue to be downloaded but are not downloaded. And then finally you've got a little meter there, which did not exist before, that says, as you can see, 31.1% used and the amount of gigabytes that you have free. So I have a 500 gigabyte hard drive, okay? On that hard drive I have Crimson Dragon, Dead Rising 3, Killer Instinct Classic, the Titanfall Beta, and Zoo Tycoon installed. And they're basically telling me that 1/3 of my hard drive space is now gone. And you may be saying to yourself, now wait a minute. 250 gigs is left, but only 1/3 is used. So, that would mean, if you do the math, that really this hard drive only has 375 clear gigs to store games on. And that is the truth of the matter, is that even though Microsoft is selling the Xbox One and telling its consumers it has 500 gigabytes of storage, this is not the case. What's happened is the operating system of the Xbox One is actually taking up more than 100 gigabytes of that hard drive when you buy it. So really, you're getting a 375 gigabyte storage capacity in your Xbox One. They're basically selling it, saying one thing, and it's a fucking lie. So this, it's funny that they did this because they're basically admitting with this that they are liars. Which I find quite funny. Okay? Now, if you go to apps, this is pretty cool too. Okay? And the reason I think that this is cool is because it's now, at a glance, separates out the features of the console. Holy shit. This is new. I kid you not. This didn't exist before they updated the console. At a glance, you couldn't find anything. You had to wade through 400 fucking menus to get to wherever you tried to find some feature. They finally just put everything at a glance, which is how it should have been to begin with. That's how the Xbox 360 works. So finally, this is, you know, up to par, up to speed with the Xbox 360 in that regard. Okay? The other new feature that they added is called Game DVR, and you can actually access it now. Before it was like impossible to find or use. And the way that Game DVR works, see it popped up there on the side, is that right now it's actually recording. Now normally what you would do, you would use your Kinect, which I've disabled because the Kinect is a fucking piece of shit and doesn't work right with voice commands. But if you were playing a game, you would voice command your Kinect to start recording, and then you could tell it when to stop through verbal commands. Now what actually happens now, you go to show my clips, and immediately goes to this section called Upload. And this Upload section is going to show any clips that you've taken during games. Now, the only game that I have clips from is actually Zoo Tycoon, because Zoo Tycoon forces you, during certain portions of it, to actually make clips as a demo, okay? And it looks like, actually, yeah, look at this. When I was playing Rise, Son of Rome, it did the same thing. During certain portions of my gameplay, look, there it is, it automatically made clips. I never authorized it to make these clips. It just did it by itself. It did it on its own. So you can see all those clips, and now what you have the capability of doing is you actually have a channel now on Xbox Live where you can feature your clips that you've recorded of your gameplay. So right now, the Xbox One does have the capability to record your gameplay, but there's two catches. Number one, there's no commentary whatsoever, and number two, you can only show these clips on your Xbox One or on this public Xbox Live channel. You can't use it on YouTube. You can't use it on Twitch. You can't use it anywhere. They haven't fixed that yet. So here we are. Here we are. How many months into the launch of the Xbox One? 3 full months. And nowhere in sight do we have any signs that there will be any ability to live stream or actually really record your gameplay for your own personal use, which, by the way, is what Microsoft promised gamers would be there at launch and was not. Okay? So, this is pretty much the major changes that they have made. I wanted to walk everyone through them to show you exactly what was changed with this big update. Okay? For me, the things that I like, obviously, duh, it's a no-brainer. Can I see how much juice is left in my controller? That should have been there since the launch. And also the ability to see, gee, how much hard drive space do I actually have? That's a huge plus as well. Because now you know, gee, well, you know, I haven't really played. Oh my god, this stupid game DVR didn't even close. Look. How do I get the game DVR to close? There. It's actually been recording the whole time. Look at this. It's actually capturing the last 30 seconds when I moved around my dashboard. This thing's a piece of crap. Here, turn it off. How do I turn it off? I can't even stop it. Look, it just does what it fucking wants. The game DVR is trash, man. No one ever gonna fucking want to use this. Seriously. Unsnap. There. I got rid of it. So, the features that I like is the battery indicator, the battery life indicator, and the hard drive space. I don't think the game DVR, anyone's going to give two flaming shits about it until it either goes to Twitch or goes to YouTube. Those are the two businesses that everyone uses for this kind of stuff. That's what they're going to want to see. I don't know why they're bothering with this shit until it's ready to do that, okay? So I just thought it was funny that they did change this a little bit. And I also thought it was funny, again, like I showed you, that some of these games actually show you that they are linked to an Xbox Live account. It almost makes me feel like Microsoft is eventually going to go back on their word and go to their online all the time. You have to be signed into Xbox Live. Games can only be tied to a certain amount of Xbox Live accounts, kind of a deal. Why else would it say this unless that were the case, right? Okay, so that being said, that is it. Thank you for joining me for this February update of the Xbox One. hopefully this was informative, and now you have a little bit better of an idea of what to expect if you do purchase the console, or if you're like me, you haven't used the console for a while because there's been no reason to do anything on it. At least now you have an idea of what's been improved, and if they do another one of these in the near future, you know, I'll be doing this as well. So that way everyone is up to snuff on what is going on with the console. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. See you later for more of these style of update videos.